Just one final topic. This is for you, Patrick, in particular. It's to do with smart TVs. So just about every Australian has one, and that Labor is looking at changes on so-called prominence laws. So when you turn on your TV for the first time, what order are the apps in, which matters, and obviously it matters for companies, including ones that we're shown on, Binge and so on. What's your view on this? Should Australians be free and TV companies be free to have those apps in whatever order they like, or should free TV, for some reason, get prominence?
Well, Tom, we went to the election saying that we recognised that there was an important role to play in the Australian government taking some steps to ensure that those free-to-air networks that have served Australia for many decades do continue to serve Australia. They tell Australian stories. They are some of the largest funders of Australian content and production. They give fantastic media careers to many. And so we took that to the election. Michelle Rowland has been working on that policy ever since. We hope to be able to legislate in the near future. We recognise that there are always, in these things, there are a range of different views, and that's why we've gone through a very thorough consultation process to make sure that we hear all of those views and we land it in a way that's right for the Australian people. And what I think the Australian people want is a system that doesn't mean we're not taking anyone's apps off these smart TVs. They come with gigabytes and gigabytes of memory now. You can put as many apps on as you like. But let's recognise the important and unique role that free-to-air broadcast television has played in this country for decades, and let's make sure that we continue to have those benefits for the future.
So on that and what it could mean, though, you said Australians, that they can fit as many apps as they want. Would it at least be a first principle that if you get the TV and you want to change the app or whatever it be to have certain ones more prominent than others, you can lock in your own settings? You wouldn't be locked into free TV as the first 5 no matter what, and that can't be changed? Well,
I could. This is where, we all have our own television experience. I could talk about the smart TV I have, and the free TV app is one particular button. It says terrestrial TV. And so how you would do that across the various different ways, we try and have some legislation that would clearly mean that it's reasonably consistent across all of the different brands and manufacturers. And I'd point out again, this is about requirements on manufacturers.
Yeah, but when you say that, but this is about
Australia.
Configuration, right? That if that's, so it might come in a certain way, but surely if you're sitting at home and you decide to, if you watch a lot of Sky News and a lot of AFL footy, don't know what households would possibly do that, apart from my own, that, you can figure it how you want. I mean, you still want people to have choice on their smart TV, don't you?
And I think the idea that this takes away all of that choice is wrong. It's about making sure you've got prominence for those Australian free-to-air networks. That's something I think is quite reasonable. I'm sure if you could have a standalone Paw Patrol app, that's what my kids would want to have. I'm sure others would have different requests. But just making sure we protect that free-to-air TV, I think, is a pretty reasonable thing. And most Australians would understand why we took that idea to the election and why we're acting upon it now.
Jason, your thoughts on this? I mean, media is increasingly sort of diverse in Australia. Does free TV deserve a legacy, if you like, or should manufacturers be free to put whatever order they want and people be free as well?
Yes. Yes, talk about misplaced priorities. Tom, we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis. Labor's cancelled weeks of sittings because they've got no vision. They took a small target to the election, but it was really small ambition. So now we're going to regulate what order the apps are on your small TV, on your TV. This is regulation looking for a problem. And the problem here is it's about Labor protecting their friends at the ABC and punishing their enemies elsewhere. Because if we know one thing about Labor, whether they be the Greens or the Teals, they're all about using government to hurt the people who didn't support them and make sure the people who did get rewarded.
Patrick, Jason, we will talk again in a fortnight's time. Stay well. I should give you a shout out, Jason. You were erroneously told it would be 11:15. That's my fault, as it usually is. And you stuck around. And Patrick, you always get credit for turning up as well.
Thank you, Jason.
Doing well over there in Perth.